Hi everyone. I'm Jo McQuaid. I'm the Community Development Officer at the City of Doncaster Council, and I lead the Community Outreach team. We deliver a wide creative health programme, including history, health and happiness, which is part of the Back to Nature, which we're going to talk about today. We evaluate all of our work using a slimmed down version of the Warwick Edinburgh evaluation tool. And that's how we monitor how we are embedding the 5 ways to wellbeing in all of our planning. So we do that by, we know that people are feeling connected both to their local place and to each other. And we do that through stories of Doncaster's history. We give them an opportunity to stop and take notice of art, of history, and also through different mindful activities. There's lots of elements of being active, whether that's wandering around a massive arts venue or the forest, or just doing quite vigorous crafts, which you'll get to see some of those in a minute. And everybody gets an opportunity to share, whether that's different interests that they have, memories, and different experiences, and also skills. We like to give people the opportunity to get involved in delivering some sessions where that's relevant. And we're always learning from each other. There's different skills, different games, and it's always a two-way street of information sharing in our sessions. A big part of what we do is it's about fun, it's about trying something new and feeling connected personally. And we're so proud of our partnership with Yorkshire Wildlife Trust, and Kat's going to talk a little bit more about that.
Thank you, Jo. Hello, everybody. My name's Kat. I am an Inspiring People Officer, and I am lucky enough to be based at this gorgeous nature reserve called Potterick Carr, just south of Doncaster, wedged in between the M18, multiple housing developments and industrial developments, roads, dual carriageways and railways. And it's got a lot of history as well, which is super exciting, as well as much as I love nature, I love history as well. And we recently did a lovely mini dig, a dirty weekend with Dig Ventures last year, and we did discover some evidence of a Romano-British settlement, and it is on that picture, but trying to point out where it is will be difficult, but we do want to explore that a little bit more. And it also was part of the Hatfield Chase in the Tudor times, where the royalty would go and hunt. So it's got a lot of modern history with railways and other things like that. But our reserve was only born in 1968, and we are managed by the Yorkshire Wildlife Trust. But it started off by a group of naturalists that recognised it was a really important area to save for Doncaster, but for the biodiversity it had as well. And sadly, one of those volunteers, the main volunteer, actually passed away this week, which is really sad. But he's got a bird hide named after him, but he put in a lot of work to help save this nature reserve and be part of the development of it as well. A lot of what you can see on there actually is man-made as well. We've just sort of tried to enhance the reserve for wildlife. So a little bit about how we started. So I can't remember what year it was. It was only a few years ago. Thank you, Jo. A few years ago, we had a meeting with the Culture Services of Doncaster. After my work with Doncaster Mind, I'm very much into the benefits of nature and wellbeing for people. So we did some work with Doncaster Mind, and they were like, "Oh, have you worked with Victoria at the Culture Services in Doncaster?" I was like, "No." So we had a meeting, and then we've just developed these lovely programs of work, and we started off with Taste of History. This was funded by the Rotary Club of Doncaster St George, so small pockets of money, not a lot. That paid for my time, and everything else, we just sort of ran with. And we would start bringing together recipes, ancient recipes, some of them, some back from the Roman times, and we would try and recreate them over the fire. And then we would bring, the museums team would bring some artifacts from the museum for us to look at more closely. And then from then, we were like, oh, should we try some crafts instead of food? See how that goes. So we did some corn dolls. So we would pick maybe a theme of history, or we'd maybe pick a celebration or something that we could tie these activities into. And interestingly, on the house tour this morning, our volunteer mentioned the rush candles, and we actually had a go at making those as well. So you can see that in the photograph just there. Really to make, we'd use natural materials. We could actually go harvest the rushes from our nature reserve and bring them back, harvest them and work them, and then dip them into beeswax. We didn't use, what's that stuff called, Jo?
Oh,
tallow. Tallow, yeah.
Tallow.
We didn't use tallow, but we used beeswax instead. And yeah, so then
back to nature.
Back to nature. I'll pass you on to Emma.
Thank you. Cheers,
I'll go
Kat.
there.
The lady with the mallet. Hello. My name's Emma Kelsey, and I work at Doncaster Council's Culture Services. I'm in Jo's team, and I work under the History, Health and Happiness programme. And I facilitate Back to Nature alongside Kat. So I'm the heritage part, and Kat's the nature part, and together we collaborate and create some fantastic sessions. And we've built this fantastic partnership together with everyone else in our team as well. So the format of Back to Nature, we like to work in blocks of 6 over 12 weeks. Each session works on a different theme, a different topic. We would like people that book on to book onto all 6 sessions, but it means that if you can't make every session, then one session's just hopefully will get you and pique your interest in some way. The format of our sessions, actually, as you enjoy them, is we like to start with a nice light quiz to start everyone off. And then what I do is bring some heritage objects, some handling objects. One of the special things about working in this, in History, Health and Happiness, is that we get to bring some collection items from the museum. So things that are usually behind glass or locked away are actually brought to spaces where people can handle and actually literally get hands-on with history, which is really, really cool. One session that I really liked was the Celt session. We brought it was a collection item. We brought a piece of talk bracelet in, and then Kat guided us in an elder bead activity. We made some beads from pieces of elder. That was really cool. My personal favourite, though, is this one. It's the mallet. One of the things I really personally like about these sessions is cooking outside, but also bushcraft. So using tools, this is all Kat actually. So using tools that I've probably never used, like axes, knives, things that I wouldn't feel comfortable or confident with. Through Kat's guidance, we actually can make stuff. And so this is a mallet. This was during the Viking session.
We've got some pictures actually.
And we've got some pictures in a bit. And one of your volunteers actually, Delapre, said we're building these mallets and using axes and knives, these like hardcore equipment. And Delapre said, Emma, listen to that. And I said, oh, and I just stopped. And it was silence. All you could hear was clattering, metal on metal, wood being hit, birds singing in the trees, winds going through the trees, no traffic, no devices, and it was bliss. Everyone's quiet, just really focused on their activity, and that was a real joy. So yes, that's a bit about Back to Nature.
It's me again. Little dance. So one thing that we've noticed is that coming to a nature reserve can also be a barrier, as we talked about with other heritage sites. So Culture Nature, using the similar premise of Back to Nature, is looking at first steps was taking this offer out into the community. So this was a pilot project with funding from Libraries Connected and Natural England to use libraries as a gateway into local green spaces. So that was really useful. And we are, the next Back to Nature that we're going to do, we're also taking that out of the nature reserve, and we're taking it to Bentley Urban Farm, which is in a local quite deprived village in Doncaster. So we're quite excited to see if that attracts a different audience as well. But we don't just work with adults, we work with young people. And Katie's going to talk to you a little bit about some of our projects that we deliver for young people.
Hi, I'm Katie Mulkeen, and I primarily work with families, children and young people. So we'd already established some groups for adults, as Emma has explained, and we use a similar kind of format for our groups with young people. So this is History, Forage and Feast, and as the name suggests, we forage for things. We have a particular historical theme for a session, and we do cooking. So in almost every session, we try and cook something on the campfire. Sometimes we've used, I think we made porridge once with blackberries that we'd foraged on the reserve, which was really nice. So we work with home-educated young people, and we'd identified kind of a gap in our community outreach whereby we were working with adults, we were working with preschool children, but there was that gap of kind of early teens, if you like. So this session is for young people aged 12 to 16 who are home educated, who potentially also experience social isolation as well because they're not attending school with many of their peers. So we felt it was a really valuable way to engage with that age group. And it's been a real success. We've got kind of a real established cohort of families who come back to each session. So we run generally one session per month. We've got 6 sessions coming up this year, starting next week, actually. And we're really excited about that. I think some other things to say. The purpose of it really is not education. It's more a space for these young people to come and socialise, to experience something different from what they might do generally in their week of education at home, to see their peers, and then kind of hopefully learn something as a byproduct of that, really. So the education part of it isn't the central thing. I didn't want it to be something where they had to learn something.
That just happens naturally.
Yeah, hopefully. And as Emma also said, we're really kind of privileged to be able to have such an eclectic and historically rich array of museum objects to take to sessions with us, and that's something that's extremely beneficial to be able to take those objects out with us to Potterick Car. And just a couple of comments from the young people who've attended the session that they've enjoyed. I enjoyed hanging out in the woods and working with like-minded people. It's fun and engaging while remaining a relaxed environment, and that they've enjoyed being in the wilderness and have made new friends. So just some really nice positive comments from the people who've participated, really.
So we also expanded that out to a summer program, which we haven't got time to talk about. But we just wanted to quickly run through some of our favourite blends of heritage and culture and nature. So this was my favourite that I picked. It's Roman. So you can see there we've got a genuine mortarium from the Roman time. We talked about what Romans ate. We went foraging for hedge garlic, and then we came back into the education centre and we made pesto, which we enjoyed on bruschetta. It was very fancy pants.
This is a session we did. It was during autumn, during the harvest, and we ended up, so we brought some farming equipment in. It doesn't sound exciting, but it was, I assure you. And then we did some pickling in the end, and everyone got together and we had a good time pickling, didn't we? Oh, confectionery. Yeah, Doncaster's got a great heritage, confectionery history in the city. We've got lots of things that were made there. We made some sweets, some toffee apples. That was one session.
Katie did a session on this as well, didn't you, on the confectionery?
Yeah, so one of the most popular sessions we did was History of Chocolate, which unsurprisingly was tremendously popular, and we kind of linked that to Doncaster's history with sweet making. And so we made some spiced Mexican hot chocolate and baked some oranges filled with a chocolate pudding on the fire, which was really successful, actually.
Yeah. And Kat, have we got time for one of your
Okay.
favourite?
One more. This we tried with our HAF group, which is the Holidays, Activities and Food Programme that are funded by the councils and the government. So we ran that last summertime, and we tried something really different. This is something I hadn't done before, but I'd read about, was melting pewter and making a cast and then pouring it and making an amulet for them to take home, and they would do their own design, cast it, melt it, and then file it down and wear it, basically.
Yeah.
So yeah, that was fun. We're going to do that again, aren't we?
And mallet bacon.
And mallet bacon.
We all love that.
and lastly, there was a lot of talk this morning about behaviour change, and as a movement of the Wildlife Trusts, we are very much focusing on that. And we've got a campaign called Team Wilder, where we're very much aware that we can't save nature just by a few conservationists. We need more people on board. And based on research where it says, if you can reach at least 1 in 4 people of the population, then you can then ignite behaviour change, because they will then have an effect, on a domino effect, basically, on people around them. So we have got a campaign called Team Wilder, and it's through nearly all of the 46 Wildlife Trusts, 47 including our umbrella organisation, Royal Society of Wildlife Trusts. So if you're interested in knowing a little bit more about that, then please do give me a call or get in touch with the Wildlife Trust about that. And that's how to get in touch if you would like to. But thank you very much, everybody.